Hello guys, today we're going to take a look at the Fendt 936 here, and what we're going to really look at is what kind of servos we can get in here. So we had a servo in the steering here, and I forget why I took that out, it must have broken. So what we'll be doing is seeing if one of these two motors can move the steering, and if it has to be the big one, will another servo fit in to operate the rear link on this tractor. First things first, we can't really do much without seeing what's inside the model, so let's take the bottom off the model and see what's going to fit in. Well, with the bottom off the model now, you can see inside here, and there's clearly a lot of wires coming from all the different LEDs that are on this model, and it looks to me like adding another servo to lift the rear link would probably be too difficult. Maybe if I'd done it when I was building the model from scratch and I was running the wires for the lights around the servo, maybe that would have worked well, but I think there's just too many wires, and if we start breaking wires it's going to be a pain to resolder them because they're glued in everywhere. When I did this, I kind of didn't really expect it to be coming back apart. This is one of my first models. Probably wasn't sure if I was going to get into the hobby to such a great extent. So if we look at the 3.7 gram servo, we probably would have fit a few of them in here. We might have got one down along, well, depth wise like this, I suppose, or we probably could have stacked them, something like that. Maybe we'd got control of the front, and we might have even got control of the front and rear link by doing that. But I don't know if this servo would really have the power that we'd need to drive the steering. So I think we'd be much better off just concentrating on driving steering and adding this larger servo. I'd say with a little bit of, well, once I can trim down all the wires it'll be a little bit easier, but I think we'd mount the servo in there, probably a little bit further forward, something like this. Have the servo arm down here and connect it to the hole in the steering rack that I made previously. So then I just had a little stiff piece of wire as a little connecting rod between the steering rack here and the arm on the servo. Okay, well, you can see I have a little wire frame here that I'm going to screw the servo to. So the servo will be something like this, if I can get it around. So the servo is going to be in there, something like that. There's a little gap on the base plate of the model here that'll let our little connecting rod through. So I'll screw that in place now. Now I have the servo mounted in. You see I've just added the two little screws there that came in the pack with the servo, and I've added a little connecting rod here, a little elbow on it just to get it round the edge on the base of the model. So that's this piece, just to get in through this section here. So if I hook it up to my servo tester here, you can see that we haven't got any difficulty turning the steering. But we're not on a road surface at the minute or anything that's really putting any traction, so we wouldn't really know how good the steering is until we actually get it onto the sandpaper road to compare it to the other models. The Massey has good steering power wise but rubbish turning angle, so let's see, we'll compare it with this and see if this has a better turning angle or more power in steering. It's just good to compare a few different steering setups. I'll stick the base back on the model and flip it upside down and just check that the steering works with the base on, and once it's carrying the weight of the tractor it should be a little harder to steer, so it'd be good to test that too. Okay, so the bottom is back on the model. Let's just check out that we still have our range. We're obviously hitting there, so we'll have to take another look and see what's wrong. So the problem was very simple. On the bottom piece of the model there was two little posts coming up either side of where our connecting rod is coming through. As the arm on the servo moved up, the connecting rod was getting caught underneath one of these little posts. So I just cut one of these posts off, and now we have our steering. If I hold my finger here against the wheel, let's see, can it push the model over? No. So our steering is probably weaker than the Massey steering. But that's alright. Once we're on the road and moving, it won't matter that much, I don't think. Although it might be a problem if we had a heavy mower or something on the front of the model. But this is another little experiment. We'll see how this goes, and then we'll know for the future what way to do the steering. So it looks like it has less power than the steering in the Massey, but it's good to try out these different configurations for things, different steering configuration, and we can compare them and find out which is the best way to do it. So this was a quite easy way to do it, but obviously it seems to lack power compared to the Massey's version, which is pretty much a direct gear drive on the steering rack. So that's the Fendt steering. That's all I wanted to show you for today. If you liked the video, make sure and hit the like button, and if you have any comments or suggestions, let me know below the video or head on over to the forum. And I'm pretty sure that's everything for today, so thanks very much for watching.